Hello everyone, welcome back to Driven, powered by the new Petronas Premix 97 with improved advanced energy formula. This is our season finale for 2015 and as you can see, we are going all out. Welcome to the future. This is the plug-in hybrid BMW i8. In Malaysia, it's priced slightly below 1.2 million ringgit. And if you're looking for a car that will stand out among sports cars, this is it.
Or is it? If it's me, I'd take the Mercedes-AMG GT S for about the same amount of money. This thing is sensational to look at, to drive, to be in, everything.
At this level, you're spoiled for choice really. My million ringgit sports car is the sexiest one here, the Jaguar F-Type R. As they say, it's good to be bad.
We'll see about that, mate. Well, are you excited yet? We have 3 super fast cars and 1 big empty runway right here in Putrajaya. Sit up, turn your volume up. This is going to be one hell of a ride. Well, what can I say? The AMG GT S is just amazing. It's such an overwhelming experience driving this. It goes like stink and it sounds even better. Listen to this. Oh. The 4-litre V8 up front is basically just 2 A45 AMG engines put together. And the twin turbos are actually put within the V of the engine. They call it the hot inside V, the first for a sports car. This makes the whole engine very compact, so they can put it lower to the ground and further back in the engine bay for optimum weight distribution. The engine itself is very light. It's just over 200 kilograms, making it the lightest V8 in the class. Topping everything off is this very good, very quick 7-speed transmission. It's a dual clutch box and it's mounted in the back, so it's a thoroughbred front engine rear-wheel drive sports car.
Compared to the AMG, the Jag is a little bit more conventional. It uses a bigger 5-litre supercharged V8 compared to the Merc's downsized twin-turbo engine. The gearbox is a simple ZF 8-speed automatic. No dual clutchery here. It's also mounted right here instead of by the rear axle like in the Mercedes. But on the other hand, you also get more power, 550 PS to be exact, compared to the Merc's 510. There's really no replacement for displacement just yet. And as for the sound, oh, it's freaking incredible. I mean, it's bonkers just how loud this car is. It's not quite as meaty as the AMG's engine note, but still, the pops and crackles. It's absolutely insane.
And now the BMW i8. I have to tell you that I love this car to bits. Now if you're looking for a car that has a big thumping V8 roar, something that will make the hair on your skin stand, this car is not for you. It still sounds good though, but more like a refined V6 compared to a 3-cylinder engine. Most of it is fake, of course, piped through the speakers in here, and there's also a loudspeaker on the outside that plays a synthesized engine note. Now overall, it sounds very nice and I have no complaints. And did I say 3 cylinders? This car is powered by a mid-mounted 1.5-litre 3-pot petrol engine, sending about 230 horses to the rear wheels. Might not sound much, but it has a powerful electric motor that powers the front wheels, making this an all-wheel drive hybrid coupe, something like the Porsche 918 hypercar. Now the overall package gives you about 362 horses, which is still lower than the other two, but don't forget this has a powerful electric motor which gives you instantaneous power. It kind of fills the gap of a petrol engine. On top of that, it is also claimed to give you 40 kilometers per litre, and that makes the other two V8s look like ancient dinosaurs.
But enough of all this techie nonsense. Which one is the fastest?
Since we have an airstrip all to ourselves, we're having a quarter-mile drag race to settle the score once and for all.
As the conditions were damp and slippery, the all-wheel drive i8 took off like an absolute rocket, leaving the two rear-wheel drive cars behind. Up to speed, the AMG's extra power clawed back the deficit and managed to pass the BMW by the finish line. As for the F-Type, it struggled to put its power down at the start, as it's the only car here without a launch control system. It suffered from massive wheel spin and finished way last in the race. Had it been perfectly dry and grippy though, it would have been just ahead of the BMW.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Look, absolute performance only matters if your name is Lewis Hamilton. If it's you or me, it's all about looks. And this car has all of it from every possible angle. It's a definite showstopper in public. And with these doors, you'll get a lot of stares when you park.
Well, if you're into that kind of thing, eyes, yes. But ears, no one's gonna hear you coming. And if you're gonna mention that fake noise, well, that's just not right, man. And another thing, those doors, yes, they look great, but you're gonna look ridiculous getting in and out of it. All the cool factor? God. The Jag, on the other hand, is a lot less dramatic. Less showboaty, if you will. It's just classically handsome, the way I like my cars to be. And you know, for those of you saying, oh, no, it's not bespoke enough because there's a cheaper V6 version, you know. Oh, please. If these looks are good enough for the ultra-rare, multi-million-dollar Jaguar F-Type Project 7, they're good enough for anyone. The doors, standard fare. No frills. That is, until you start it. There's nothing standard about that.
That snap, crackle and pop thing is so juvenile, John. Me personally, I much prefer this car's deeper, much more mature V8 rumble. And look at the profile, it's like 80% bonnet and 100% awesome. What's not to like? From the SLR McLaren, the SLS AMG and now the AMG GT, Mercedes has slowly toned down its flagship sports car. It no longer has gull-wing doors, but you can hardly call it boring now, can you? And on the inside, it's as bespoke and special as cars in this class get. It leaves the BMW and Jaguar in its dust when it comes to cabin ambience. It's the most practical of the lot too, with a 350-litre boot in the back.
The BMW i8 looks like nothing else on the road today, giving it massive road presence. It has plenty of unique aerodynamic touches and a super lightweight carbon fiber chassis with plastic body panels. The same approach is continued inside, with a dashboard design that is as striking as the exterior. It's the only car here with two rear seats, but they're strictly for children, and perhaps best used for luggage as the actual boot is tiny.
In stark contrast to the i8's futuristic design, the Jaguar F-Type is inspired by a classic car, the iconic E-Type. It's svelte, it's sexy, it's quintessentially British through and through. Inside, it's just as classy, with a snug, cocooning, driver-focused cabin. Its party piece is the center aircon vents, which rise up on demand. The boot, though, is practically unusable, as the spare tire takes up all the space.
Outright performance and looks aside, you really have to drive these cars out on the open road to find their true character. And here, the Jaguar F-Type R absolutely shines. The Jaguar feels the most substantial drive in this group. Everything comes together nicely. The steering is the best here, with the most amount of feel. Jaguar actually says that the car's chassis is 80% stiffer than the convertible F-Type, and that the dampers adjust themselves up to 500 times a second to optimize stability. This is a very serious machine. A word of warning though, it's actually the hairiest to drive in this trio. The power delivery to the rear wheels is so violent that you risk the back stepping out if you're not careful. Of course, if you know what you're doing behind the wheel, it can be good.
But if you don't, it can be quite scary. Jaguar knows this, which is why they've started developing F-Types with all-wheel drive.
Out on public roads, this is the most outstanding car here. It feels almost old school how raw and visceral everything is. The steering wheel is hydraulic assistance for extra feel, and there's almost zero body roll to speak of. It corners almost unnaturally flat all the time. Handling balance, well, it's pretty spot on actually. I'm talking about close to Porsche level of driving dynamics here, and it doesn't get much better than that. On the limit handling, well, let's not even go there. You'll only ever reach that on racetracks, and even then, you need seriously big balls to do it. This car, the combination of the quick steering wheel, the dual clutch transmission, and the sound, it's a lot of fun, this car.
The BMW i8, on the other hand, is equally as exciting, but not the same way as the other two. It's all about power delivery here. The moment you step on the accelerator, bam, it goes. The torque delivery is silky smooth, it's brilliant. The car is also really fun to drive. The handling limits is not as high as the other two, likely because of the tyres. The fronts are running on 215s compared to the 265s on the AMG. To me, this adds to the excitement, and you don't need to go stupidly fast to enjoy the car. This is of course an all-wheel drive car with the electric motor powering the front wheels. Now, if you're in a corner, you can start accelerating earlier compared to the rest. And if you don't want to go fast, this is by far the easiest and most comfortable car here to drive. It all shrinks around you, so you can drive it like any other car. Now, as an everyday sports car, this is unbeatable.
And as usual, none of these cars are actually perfect. Well, far from it. This car is extremely intimidating to drive. I'm here sitting so low, and the bonnet is so long right in front of me that I can never judge where it ends. And look at this, the gear lever. Why is it placed so far back? Like, hello, not all of us are built like Germans, you know?
As for the i8, it's the cabin. The thing is, it doesn't feel special enough. For example, the controls. A lot of them are from other BMW models like the 1 Series or the 3 Series. The instrument panel is a bit on the smaller side, and for a car that's almost 1.2 million ringgit, you don't get keyless entry, and the adjustments on your steering wheel is manual. I kinda expected more.
And the Jag, well, as much as I like the exhaust note, all that popping and crackling, well, you grow tired of it after a while. There's a button here to quieten it down, but it never ever actually settles down. And lastly, fuel economy. There's no way this old engine can match the more modern powertrains here, but let's just see how big the difference is.
For these high-performance sports cars, we naturally use the new Petronas Premix 97 with improved advanced energy formula. The Euro 4M fuel uses Formula 1 engineering for superior acceleration. It also protects the engine, provides better combustion and improves drivability. It's also worth noting that the AMG GT is pre-filled with Petronas Syntium with Cooltech, which is formulated to fight excessive engine heat to maintain optimum performance.
As expected, the F-Type trails the rest here. Its relatively old engine averaged just 6.8 km per litre over normal driving conditions, compared to 7.9 km per litre on the AMG GT S. The BMW i8, it returned 13.8 km per litre in real life. Well short of the claimed 40, but still amazing for a car with this sort of performance.
On top of fuel economy, the i8 is the cheapest to run year in, year out. Because it has a small 1.5 litre engine, its annual road tax is merely 90 ringgit. The AMG would cost 6,600 ringgit per year, while the F-Type is over 11,000 ringgit. There you go, a hybrid sports car. It's the way of the future, isn't it?
I'm not quite sure I agree, Harv. I mean, let's be honest here. At this level, running cost is not such a big factor, alright?
Exactly. And if we're talking about all-out sports cars, I think you and I have got to admit that the i8 is the weakest link here. It's the slowest, it doesn't sound as good, and really, come on. The other two are just more exciting to drive.
Okay, true, But that's the point. It is not an all-out sports car. It is a technological showpiece. It's something new, it's something different, and for what it is, a car to be driven every day, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Fair enough, but still, if you're looking for a traditional sports coupe, it's either the Merc or the Jag.
Yup, the two are very, very close. I mean, I think I still prefer the F-Type, so I think it's better looking. And really, if you're looking for a more engaging and involving drive, I think your search ends here.
Yes, but objectively, it has to be the AMG. I mean, it's the fastest here, it has the best interior by far, and to me, it's every bit as good to drive as the Jag. It has to be the winner here.
Who cares about being objective? It's all about how they make you feel, you know, when you drive them, when you look at them, and to me, the i8 does that perfectly.
Same here. I mean, if it was my own money, it's gotta be the Jag.
And me, the AMG. It has nothing to do with it being the best car here. I just love it.
Well, there you go. To each his own. I mean, one man's F-Type is another man's i8, is another man's AMG GT. When you're talking about this much money, buy what you like. Right, guys?
Right? And with that said, we have just concluded our final episode of the season. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next year.
Driven, powered by the new Petronas Primax 97 with improved advanced energy formula.